What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. This is Matt. What's up, buddy? You doing all right?
Doing good, man. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, coming off a great win in the swamp. Anytime that we can beat the Gators is a great day for me, man. If you're not a Gator hater, there is something wrong with you, because I am a Gator hater. All those years in the early 2000s that we had to put up with the Gators beating us each and every week, each and every year, it was miserable. It was a miserable time for me. We'd have a great, great team, and we'd go play the Florida Gators, and we'd lose every single time. And there were so many Florida fans that were transplants in Georgia at that time that made my life a living heck. So I'm so glad that those years are over. And gosh, it feels good. Was it 4 years in a row now that we've beat them? And so very good that we are on top, and the Gators continue to struggle. So I'm very, very, very happy with that. Hey, little housekeeping tidbits. As you guys know, if it's your first time on the show, we would love to hear your comments. So comment in your comment section below. We'll show your name and your face and your icon or whatever you have on your Facebook or YouTube page. We'll show your comments, just like old Hunter Ivy. He is showing up loud and proud. Go Dogs. And the professor, Mr. Akaki, go Dogs. Hunter Ivy says 7 out of the last 8 we won, I believe. Yep, I think you're right, buddy. I think you're right. So very good day to be a dog fan. And here on the Middle Georgia Dog Pound, we are for sure Gator haters. We also have an email address. So if there's anybody that has a business or a product that you'd like for us to feature on the show, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up at middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com. That's middle G-A, dog spelled like it should be, D-A-W-G, pound@gmail.com. We'd definitely like to hear back from you and have you on the show. Speaking of folks being on the show, next week we got a special guest that's going to be on the show with us, Ray Donaldson, his former player for the Dogs back in, I believe, the late 70s. Played in the NFL for many years. Is a Super Bowl 30 champion. Is going to be on the show with us next Friday night. So do not fail to tune in because Matt will sneeze right in the middle of the production. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, don't fail to tune in next week. We'd love to have you guys on the show as Ray Donaldson shows up and regales us with his time in the NFL and his time with the Dogs. So definitely would love to have you guys back on. Matt, we got to get into this Florida game and talk about everything that we saw on Saturday. But before we do that, let's run the Florida game highlights. What do you say?
Let's do it, brother.
One play at a time, and stay right here. We're right here. We're good. One drive, one quarter, one half, next quarter, one game, as long as it takes.
Hey man, we talked about earning it all week. You earn it for somebody. You know what you can earn now? The ability to recover fast. When you do something great, you move on. Something bad happens, you move on. That's how we earn it. It's not in sweat. You already put the sweat in, guys. You ought to have ton of confidence in what you earned it.
That's the finish right here, man. Let's go.
Hungry out here, man.
Hey, I would battle with any other group of men in this group right here. You go earn it today by how you lay the line for each other. That's the bottom line. Don't earn it by how you play. Hey, confidence, what you do. Earn it in your preparation.
stronger at what? We get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. You earn it.
React. Keep your composure.
We win the game in the fourth quarter, Chris. You know why? We get stronger, so that game does what? We get stronger. Get the crowd in the game and use the momentum, guys. See this? You earn the right. Hold that up, man. What did all week?
Dillon's got him running. He's already the Gators. The Gators fights off a man at the 25. They push him out of bounds. Short toss to Frazier to the right. He dives for the goal line. Touchdown. They get in there finally, and Georgia, field goal or an extra point away from tying this at 13. Snap goes through the holder's arm and hands it rolls back to the 40. It's going to be Georgia's ball. Recovered back at the Florida 37-yard line. Almost tackled at the 11. He keeps his feet and he gets into the end zone, breaking a tackle and breaking the plane of the end zone. Cash money Jones.
Let's go!
Georgia fans making plenty of noise now. The team asks for it, and the fans comply. Chambliss grabs his shirt tail, pulls him back towards his body, and gets Warner on the ground for a sack back at the 21. Chambliss doing the dirty work. He's got a receiver downfield, caught at the 48. Arian Smith in the Gator territory. Might be the biggest play of the game, at least through the air for the Dogs. Throw it to Lovett. Caught at the 10, breaks the tackle at the 5. End zone, touchdown, Dominic Lovett. And the Dogs are back in front. And his pass is intercepted. C.J. Allen and the 20 jumps in the air. Phillips has got it running wide to the right side, and the freshman scores the touchdown. Dwight Phillips from Mableton, Georgia.
Fun game. A lot of headaches, a lot of stress. I pulled a few hairs out of my head with the Beck interceptions. I still have yet to figure out why he feels he's got to press and force the ball on first down. Seems like to me that is a freshman mistake. And throughout the game, we see him make more and more freshman mistakes. I mean, he run to the boundary and take a sack instead of throwing the ball away. Leaves me scratching my head. I don't understand it. But Matt, there's a lot of people that are out here saying we got to give Carson Beck some grace, and that a lot of the issues are not just him. There's the receivers and the receivers not running the right routes and not doing the thing. What do you have to say about that?
So I think it's a little bit of some of the extra stuff. I think most of it, I think 90% of it falls on Carson. I don't want to make him the scapegoat, but he'll say it himself. He says, "Me, I'm making poor decisions." That's truly what it is. He's trying to set up his, and that's just how these guys think nowadays. It's all about, setting up my brand, setting up my resume. He's okay. I'm out of the Heisman race. Now I got to start setting up my NFL resume. I'm going to try to show you I can put these balls in tight windows. Well, stop doing it because you're making yourself look worse. Show teams you can complete a pass. How about that? And so I went back and watched the game. Always watch the game again, like most of us do. And besides those interceptions, which one was just a great defensive play. Let's be honest. Actually, two of them were great defensive plays. One was just an error, right? The first one, literally I'm not sure if he was the nickel or the linebacker. He came back. I mean, he read that ball right. I mean, that's just a great, and it was still kind of a poor throw. But Carson threw it up high, so only his receiver could get it. But then the guy just read it and came back and made a great play. The second one was just a terrible throw. It really was trying to cut through 3 defenders for some reason. And then the third one was, that hit on him that made the ball go flying in the air. That's another great defensive play. So if we really look at it, really one really bad, poor throw when it comes to him. But the rest of the game, if you watch the rest of the game outside of those interceptions, he actually played pretty well. And he still threw for 300 yards. I mean, outside the interceptions, I think they said he was it 24 for 29? Like, that's really still really good. He just made those 2 defensive stops and then one error on his own. So he's still missing some of those check down pieces. There are some issues where we're not getting third downs. He calls receivers, and like Lovett was one of those guys who just didn't know what the play was. Don't know why you don't know what the play was. Still didn't know what the play was. We still have guys who are dropping passes, three drop passes. But then, I mean, I think that's pretty much the main thing. They haven't played their best game yet. If we look at it totality, they've had all these games with all these interceptions and all these turnovers, and they still win. I mean, technically, I mean, it sounds bad, but I mean, even the Alabama game, they still were in contention to win that game besides one fluke, terrible defensive coverage, and even down the very end of the game, he had the ball in the end zone, just got intercepted again. But I mean, even when they are in these games, it shows you how good this team can be. We have not seen a full game yet. I mean,
nope.
I mean, haven't. So it's just crazy.
Yep. Hunter Ivy says I don't know. Yep. Half of Beck's interceptions has hit the receivers in the hands and it slipped through. Could Beck be more accurate? Yes, but if the ball hit your hands, then you have a chance to catch it. Yeah, the problem I have with all of that is that some of the throws are like way up high. They're going to be tip balls. That is the issue. That's some of the issues that I have with some of his passes. They're not very accurate. And so if you're not going to be accurate, the ball's going to get tipped. Then yeah, there's a good possibility it's going to get intercepted. So here's the other thing that I was really wanting to hit on more than anything. Gone are the days of the Stetson Bennett, we're going to give you a pass because you're a walk-on quarterback. That's not Carson Beck. Carson Beck was highly recruited out of high school, set all kinds of state records in the state of Florida as a quarterback. And let's not forget that he's being paid multi-million-dollar deals to be at the University of Georgia. If you are getting paid that type of money, the expectation is for you to perform, in my opinion. So, maybe the NL collective needs to take a step back and say, you know what, we're not going to pay this type of money to quarterbacks going forward until they prove that they can perform. Now, did he perform last year? Yeah, absolutely. But he had Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers covering up a lot of stuff, I feel like. I mean, I think back to the Florida game last year where he threw that terrible pass to Brock Bowers and hit the DB in the back, and it bounced off from him. And Brock Bowers somehow, because he's Superman, actually he's Captain America, he grabs that ball in the run and scores a touchdown off from it. That wasn't an interception, but it should have been. And those kind of things happened week after week, and they were covered up by better receiver play than what we have this year.
Wasn't that Stetson though 2 years ago?
What, throwing interceptions?
No, that tip ball you're talking about. Wasn't that Stetson's ball 2 years ago? Because Brock didn't play in the Florida game last year. He had that surgery.
I'm pretty sure it was him last year.
I remember that pass, but I thought it was Stetson's pass that did
Maybe
that
I'm wrong.
2 years ago.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Because I don't think he played. Remember he got injured in the Vanderbilt game in the fourth game. He didn't play the middle part of the year. We had Florida in the middle part of the year.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm just trying to think. But yeah, no. But to your point though, it is that piece. I mean, this is something that Stetson had when he was in high school. I mean, his junior year, like you said, back setting all kinds of records, got his big national debut stuff when he got recognized nationally as a quarterback, but he had a very veteran senior-led receiving core. Those guys all leave, and he throws for 1,000 less yards his senior year because he had less talent. Once again, that's high school talent. We're in college now. We have receivers. We do have receivers. Yes, 2 receivers have vacated because of different reasons, right? But you still got talent there. Are we not seeing a production from the talent that we thought we had? I think Lovett can be electric and can be a playmaker, but he's not seeming to take that next step as he did when he was at Missouri. He seems to still have that same kind of. He hasn't been more electric than he was. He's not the breakaway guy that he is. He's still scared to get hit over the middle. He tends to, and that's something that Carson does. Carson has missed him on slant patterns across the middle at least 3-4 times this year. So his speed, throwing behind him. So that's not on Lovett. Yeah, he can make those snags. Other guys may make those snags looking behind him. I'm not gonna lie. Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint would have made that catch. Okay, he would have made that catch looking behind him, but Levis is not doing it. I mean, honestly, our best receiver is Bell by far. We know he's our best receiver. He's our best athlete on the field. I don't care. I know people say that ETN is the best athlete, the best player on the team. By far, it is Dylan Bell. It is going to be. I don't care. You can debate me all day long if you want to. Dylan Bell is the best player on the field, and if he goes down, in my opinion, we are super screwed.
Yep, totally agree. Grady Darcy, I'm not sure why his name isn't showing up, but it didn't show up. But he said Beck is communicating in the game with receivers. I'd love to know what the conversation was between him and Bell. Yep, I agree. Dad says, got to clean this up. Too many turnovers against good teams spells doom for the Dogs. I totally agree with that. Hunter Ivy says he performed last year better because of Bowers and McConkey improved his numbers. Yep, I agree.
But totally let's say also, is the point that last year he played more conservative? Last year he played more conservative. He took what the defense would give him. He didn't push the ball. Now he's trying to push the ball, and so is it cause those players are gone, or is it cause now he's taking more chances? Yep. I think he's taking more chances. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And it doesn't help that your running backs you have that you're depending on for all these time. I mean, you had good running backs who knew how to block, and now you're depending on a freshman who we have seen through the games he's in there. Why he didn't play a lot of games because he is still struggling to pick up those blocks. He'll get it. He will, but I mean, he's been forced in there. I mean, yes, Nate Frazier's going to be a good running back for us. He had a great first game. We all loved that because we were just, able to do that, but that's not what you're going to see every game when you go into the season. He's got to learn how to block. And you're going to say it. You're a receiver. You don't block, you're not getting in the field. That's why we see some new receivers leave. You can't block, you won't get on the field.
Absolutely. Well, I think we debated the issues with Beck long enough. I don't know if we're going to solve the problem. I am pleased with some of our defensive play. Chaz Chambliss has seemed to really step it up this past week. Love to see his encroachment into the pocket and getting a couple of sacks there. Who else really stood out to you this week on defense? And I'll let you talk about whatever offensive player that you want to.
No, I mean, I think we're still seeing the emergence of, and I think this is important for next year, is Damian Wilson. Looks like we're going to lose our two ends, our two rushing ends with Walker and Williams this year. And so to see this sophomore really step up, he's got to watch his late hits, which we've seen a few of them this year, which is his just want to hit people, which I love. But the emergence of him is crucial for next year. So I think that's the guy I'm really looking forward to seeing. Still seeing our stellar middle linebackers, which we'll keep again for next year, which would be awesome. But that's what I'm mostly impressed with is seeing Damon Wilson on the outside.
Pretty athletic play out of C.J. Allen with that interception. So that was pretty great to see. Let's see. John Akaki says the better we run the ball, the better Beck will be. Yeah. And we have so many running backs on scholarship, and yet we're only seeing what, 2. Well, I don't understand what the deal is with that.
It's
So
injuries, man. Injuries happen, dude. Just is how it works.
yeah, but I mean, that's not a. I mean, the few that's been hurt isn't all the scholarship running backs that we have. So I just don't understand if you weren't good in it. You know, I don't know. Maybe just not good enough to get on the field. I don't know. But like you said, they got a block.
But the thing about Robinson was probably their number 2. Their number 2 and number 3 back are both out.
Yeah.
So you're looking at your 4th and 5th string running back, you know, and one of them was a previous walk-on. So I mean, it is there. I mean, the depth is there. Just when it just sometimes it snowballs like that. You guys just get injured, and they all get injured in the same position class, and it happens that way. You're good.
Well, speaking of running backs, I was going to show this little clip of Phillips getting his first touchdown. So good to see a new face on the field. So I was going to show his first touchdown and then the players' reaction to it. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Phillips has got it running wide to the right side. We faked an end around to the near side. Phillips ended up with the football, got to the pylon, and the freshman scores the touchdown. Dwight Phillips from Mableton, Georgia, with his first Bulldog score.
Yeah, boy! That's Peanut, baby! Peanut! 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 Peanut scored!
I thought that was pretty cool.
Great,
I don't know why they call him Peanut, but I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's pretty cool to see all those guys excited for him to score his touchdown, and obviously he's made an impact on the team, and for them to have that type of reaction shows that he's putting in the effort, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to go back to the game, but I mean, something we don't really fail to realize. We outscored them 28-7 in the second half, and we still feel like it was a loss. Isn't that crazy? Isn't the crazy atmosphere that we live in? 28-7 in the second half, and we still felt like it was a close game. It's just insane. So just something for us to think about. I'm sick of being behind, right? Let's just once again I just want a game just to take it off the beginning first, and just go from beginning to end, just dominate. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled because of the last few years where we just dominated everybody, and then the second, third, fourth string guys get to come in and play all the fourth quarter. We're definitely spoiled, and so this is how a normal team operates.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think some of it is in the fact that teams are not. We used to be so dominant heavy, so top end heavy of our conference and stuff, and it was like 3 or 4 good teams, and then there's a few middle teams, and there's a half the middle, half of the bottom. Now there's so many on the same par teams across the board. There's better games. It just as it is. That's what the NIL has done, is created better teams across the board. Because no one this year has made themselves look so dominant that anywhere in the country. So that's the good to be a part of. I think that's why it looks so way it does every week. That's why the pick'ems have been hard, because these teams are showing up.
Yep. So Grady Darcy says, like Texas. I guess who he's talking about is our comment about dominating, having a game where we actually get out ahead early, like Texas. Yeah, we want to see every game like Texas from now on.
I don't want to see 3 turnovers. I still don't want to see 3 turnovers.
That's right.
Yeah,
he sure did.
I don't want to see that.
Yep, absolutely. Any other comments before we move this thing along? We're
tracking. Go ahead and go.
Yep, we're at 8:25 here, so we're definitely running a little behind here. So let's bring on the professor and see what the professor has to say for us this week. What do you say?
Good morning, Middle Georgia Dog Pound. It's rather early this morning. I'm sitting in the sheriff's van here, transport van, at the courthouse. We're going to be going to LEC this morning to pick up some inmates. That's my Friday detail as a bailiff here in the courthouse. No trials today. but just want to catch you up. It's been a couple weeks. We've had some celebrities on. We had Paul Patrisco as our stand-in SEC official, kind of go over the Texas game and those calls. And then we've had the Florida game has come and gone, and we have a little pup doing a little slashing and chomping, and Kirby had to do a re-education and acclimation of what we do as dogs and how we handle ourselves as maturity goes. But this week we're in Ole Miss. We're in the Rebels territory. We're crossing into the Mississippi, state of Mississippi, and the Rebels are 7-1. Excuse me, 7-2. We're 7-1, and their two losses were close games. And I did a little due diligence on Dart because I think as we go, our defense goes against Dart will tell the tale. I think that's where the game's going to be won and lost, just like Texas. We're going to wreak havoc. You know it. We're going to send him. We're going to make his life miserable. Our offensive line's got to handle Walter Nolan, one of the people that transferred out of Texas A&M. Very stout defensive line. I've heard yesterday from Bill Shank's show. Everybody on their defensive line is a transferring in to play for the Rebels. They spent a lot of money. They were like Ohio State. They want to win now. And Dart is last year. So they're going to give us a formidable game, and it's going to be tough. But I'm picking the Dogs. I'm going to make this short today. Picking the Dogs 30-21. Everybody has a tough time scoring 20 points. I know Alabama got away from us a little bit there with the first quarter. Chaz Chambliss is playing a lot better. He's was co-defensive player of the week. He had 2 sacks or 2.5 sacks. And you know what the story is. ETN's got to go. I just want to thank everybody for being a part of the show. Next week we've got somebody, and I'll close this out. Next week we've got a celebrity calling in and going to be on the show from Indianapolis. Our longtime Hall of Fame center, Ray Donaldson, number 53 in the NFL and for the Dogs. He played at Baltimore before they moved into Indy. Played for the Colts for a lot of years, and then he played for the Seahawks 1 year and 2 years with Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys, won him a championship, Super Bowl. Ray is, and I'm going to give you the skinny on it, Ray is the first black African-American center in the NFL. Better than that, he is the first black African-American offensive lineman at the University of Georgia in history. I want you to come on the show, Ray, and enjoy yourself next week. We appreciate you. I appreciate being in the lineup at times with you. I've got some pictures I'll throw in there, but Ray was extremely great. We'll let the story be known that Bill Krug can tell some nice stories because they shared the defensive side of the ball together before Ray was shipped up to play offense. But be on the lookout next week for Ray Donaldson. And I'm just going to send this back to the Middle Georgia Dog Pound, our administrative staff, the Whiteheads and Mr. Judd. They're going to give you the recap, or they're going to give you the pre-game scouting report. Thank you, and you all have a great fall day in Macon, Georgia.
Good deal. We love the professor each and every week when he comes on the show. Lots of good things to say, and we do appreciate him coming in. Matt, got to move this thing on, dude. Got to get on to Paul's calls. Let's get this thing for Paul's calls. All right, got a few videos on the Paul's calls. If you guys don't know Paul Patrisco is a good friend of ours. Comes on the show each and every year. Retired SEC official, and he provides us with some great videos each and every week explaining the prior week's calls. So let's get into them.
Our first play this week, the offense lines up at the 8 with 4th down. Their line to gain is the 2-yard line, and they're going to attempt to kick a field goal. Now, the kick is good, but we're going to get a flag from our center judge on the play. And as we go back and take a look at the action of number 15 on the defense, we see that he moves forward to try to block the kick, and really two potential rules come into play here. First, no defensive player in an attempt to gain an advantage may step, jump, or stand on an opponent. And that's a personal foul for leverage, and that's what was called here. But also, if the player is aligned more than 1 yard from the line of scrimmage, and 15 was here, they may not move forward to try to block the kick by leaping into the plane above the frame of the body of an opponent. So number 15, really, he did both, but it was a correct call for leverage. But it could have been a call for leaping as well. Now, the kicking team on the play, they can keep the 3 points and enforce the penalty on the succeeding kickoff, or they can accept the penalty, which they did here. It's half the distance to the goal, so we move the ball to the 4. But even though it's short of the line to gain, the penalty carries an automatic first down, so it's first and goal for the offense at the 4. Play 3, there are 2 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The offense is down by 1 point, and the quarterback drops back, and he's going to throw across the middle. The receiver's going to make the catch. He laterals back to number 11 coming across, and 11 is hit hard by defender number 25, and we're going to get 2 flags down for targeting. Now, we see that time has expired in the game, but if we have an accepted penalty on the last time down, we will extend the fourth quarter for the offense to have an additional untimed down. Now, like any other targeting, replay is going to go in and take a look at this. They got to confirm all aspects. So the first aspect, number 11 here, is considered a defenseless receiver. Even though the pass that he's catching is a backward pass, the receiver, by completing the catch, he does not have time to protect himself, and he's not yet transitioned to a ball carrier, so he is defenseless. And the defender lowers his head, attacks, and he attacks the defenseless receiver and makes forcible contact to the head of his opponent. So replay can confirm all aspects of targeting. Number 25 is disqualified, and after a 15-yard penalty, the offense gets 1 additional untimed down as we extend the fourth quarter. Play 5, we're late in the half. The offense faces 4th and 4, and they not only need a first down, but they're trying to get into field goal range. Now, they complete a short pass over the middle for a first down, and the receiver drives forward into field goal range. Now, the clock will temporarily stop for the first down, and the offense, they're going to rush to the line. They get set, and they're really trying to just spike the ball here to stop the clock. Now, we see the formation. It's very odd. 10 players on the line of scrimmage. The quarterback takes the snap, does spike the ball, and the clock stops with 9 seconds remaining. The question, is this formation legal? And as we look at the formation, by rule, the offense, to be legal, they must have at least 5 players on the line, 50 to 79, which they have here, and they can have no more than 4 backs, and that's the key to the requirement. There's only 1 back and 10 on the line, so the formation is legal, with the caveat that only the end man on the line of scrimmage would be eligible, assuming he has an eligible number. So as we look at the top of the formation, only the end man would be an eligible receiver. The bottom side of the formation, the end man is a tackle without an eligible number, so he's not eligible. But if they get set just to spike the ball, there are no issues with this formation. Our last play this week is a 2-play vignette concerning the goal line pylon. Now, on our first play, the receiver, he makes a great shoestring catch, heads for the goal line, dives with the ball outstretched. He keeps firm control and touches the pylon with the ball. The pylon, remember, is in the end zone, so this is a touchdown. Now, the second play of the vignette, the runner breaks down the sideline, heads for the goal line, and he hits the pylon, and the ruling on the field is going to be just short of the goal line. And as we look from the end zone angle, we see that the runner, he clearly stays in bounds. His right foot is going to hit the pylon. And we know that the pylon is in the end zone, but the play is dead the moment the ball carrier touches this pylon. He does get goal line extended by touching the pylon, but it's critical we see the location of the ball the instant the runner touches the pylon, because it's a dead ball at that point. Replay is going to come in, and with our best views, it appears the ball is just short of the goal line when that right foot hits the pylon. Nothing perfect down the line, so replay properly lets the call on the field stand. It'll be first and goal for the offense.
Do appreciate Paul Patrisco sending us those videos each and every week. Just a little caveat, Paul's going to undergoing surgery this week, and so our prayers are going out to him. Paul, we're thinking of you and praying for a speedy recovery, buddy, and hope to see you back on the show soon. Run this thing along, man. Let's get these Krug's Crunches. Krug's Crunches is our weekly show of the hardest hits on the previous week. So let's get those videos going. What do you say?
Some playmaking from the wide receiver position out of him. They're ordinary at that position. Another big hit. Boy, Brown might want to go back on the injured situation. Those 2 plays, they got planted by Will Lee, and it's a hard-earned 1 yard.
This Gator defense feeling it. There's a reverse. Smith trying to get the edge, and Arian Smith is knocked down hard. Flying to the ball is Jordan Castell, the safety.
Big one.
Smith popped up, Castell down on the field. So Bobo going to the end around, trying to get an explosive, one of their faster players.
Yeah. Looked like most of that contact was right on that right shoulder for Castell.
Takes you out of field goal range for now. So quick hitter, Gray, incomplete. On the slant.
Just Zechariah Porter, Poyser just making a physical play on the ball. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him.
Getting the ball out quickly to his running back. Pickles hands it off there to Jolly. James Stewart in on the tackle. And that was a big hit. Watch James Stewart here fly around the edge.
Salter gets popped. Did he stay on top of the football? Yes, he did. I mean, Salter manages somehow to hang on to that football after he is drilled by Garen Stansberry.
Yeah, Garen Stansberry just explodes through the line of scrimmage right here.
It's been all Troy so far. It's first down and 20 for Vasco. Here's the blitz, and completing the blitz. That was Damaj Yancey, his second sack of the year.
Every week he finds a way to play and found a way to show up big on third down. McAllister a high punt, pulled in and hammered right at the point of the catch. Branch got smoked. SC will have it at the 11-yard line. Oh, there's Bruner right in the middle of it again.
All right. I'm going to skip the last videos. We were running way behind tonight. So do appreciate Bill Krug. And those Krug's Crunches are just a little few videos that we like to show each and every week to honor our buddy Bill Krug and his hard-hitting time and as a DGD. And we do appreciate him as well. Well, Matt, let's run the hype video and let's get into talking about this upcoming game with the Ole Miss Rebels. What do you say?
Let's do it, brother.
Relentless. Every swing. Every hit. There are no shortcuts, no easy way out, just chopping. We've been chopping for a long time.
Chopping wood, man.
Chopping wood, baby. Chop wood. Keep chopping. Keep chopping. Go keep chopping. Keep chopping.
And don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Keep chopping.
Day after day, play after play, moment by moment.
The reason we won all the moments was for this moment.
You get knocked down, you get right back up. It's a reset after every rep. Blow by blow. Chop by chop. When that tree comes down, you think we're done? We just move on to the next.
I like it. I like it. And we are definitely going to need to chop some wood tomorrow in Oxford, Mississippi, because the weather is not looking so good, fellas. It is not looking good at all. 80% chance of rain right at game time. 90% chance of rain at 4 p.m. and it does not let up. And so it is going to be tough sledding in Oxford. And we have got to be able to be the more formidable opponent. We've got to be the tougher guy, and we've got to stick to our assignments. So, Matt, head coach is Lane Kiffin, as you guys know. We faced Lane a time or two here already. Lane's trying to make a name for himself, and according to the pundits, according to all the analysts, this was the year that Ole Miss was going to break through, and unfortunately, it has not come to fruition for the Ole Miss Rebels. But here we are. We are going to Oxford, and Matt, get us going on the offense. Who we need to be watching out for, buddy?
All right, so like you're saying, Brian, here we have this team that we're going to talk about here, both offense and defensively, is a team that was very highly paid to beat Georgia only. After last year's game, the drumming that we gave them in Athens last year, they committed that if we want to win the SEC, we have to go through Georgia. So they built this team not to win the SEC, but to beat Georgia. So this is their game they've had circled all year long on their calendars, what they built their team for. And so to Brian's point, I think that's why some of the games they've struggled in, because they've been so focused on beating Georgia this year. That team wasn't built to beat everybody. That's the difference between Georgia and Ole Miss. Doesn't mean this game will not go their way, but the main thing is that we are built to beat everybody. They built this team to beat us, and so as we get into these players, you kind of see why. So I started out here with the guy we all know, the probably the best quarterback in the nation, in my opinion, statistically, is Jackson Dart. He has the most yards in the entire country this year. Yes, he's probably played one more game than most other schools have. I think they played one more game than us. Their bye is coming up, I think next week. So they'll have a break there, and so that stuff will catch back up. But still, most yards in the entire country is this guy right here, 3,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. So kind of just take that in for a second. Our quarterback's thrown 3 interceptions in 3 games. He's guys thrown 3 all year long. So just kind of gives you that piece. The other piece of this that you can't see on this statistic board here is that he's also their second leading rusher on their team. So I know for all of us who know, we fully struggle with a running quarterback. How's that going to look come tomorrow? How's it going to look with his running ability? How's it going to look inside the weather? Are they going to depend more on him running tomorrow than they are going to depend on him passing? We don't know, and that's the guessing game we're going to have to play with. But still, a great player. He's had 4 games of 300 yards plus. He's had 1 game of 400 yards plus passing, and then 1 more game of 500 yards passing. That's a lot of yards. That 500-yard game came last week against Arkansas, and so it was a big game for them as they get ready for us. So going to these running backs here are the top 2 running backs they have. Once again, he's their second leading running back. Parrish is their leading running back with 678 yards, 10 touchdowns. He averages about 5.25 yards a game. He also has about 82 yards receiving as well. He's had 200-yard rushing games. The third leading rusher on the team is Matt Jones with 222 yards, 3 touchdowns, and still averaging about a 5.25 yards. He only has about 13 yards receiving, so not a huge weapon in the pass game. But as you can see here, their main 2 runners are going to be these 2 right here, which is going to be Parrish and Dart. So that will be their main focus when it comes to the rushing game. They're mainly going to focus on that pass game more than anything else. With the way they're coming, what's it going to look like? I don't know. Will it make it harder for us to defend or make it easier for us to defend? We'll yet to be seen. As we get into our receivers here, I know you'll see there, I have Trey Harris up there. He is still out there as questionable, doubtful / as it may be, but he is still their leading receiver. He hasn't played in 2 games and still is their leading receiver, one of the best receivers this year across the country, almost 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. He averages about almost 17 yards a game. He's had 4 100-yard receiving yards. He's had one 200-yard game this year alone, and once again, he's missed 2 games. The next one they have there is Camden Lee. He's coming from Georgia. He's from Kennesaw. He is their second leading receiver at 615 yards, 1 touchdown, averages 17 yards a game. He's had 2 100-yard games. We also put in here, I got Jordan Watkins. He's the one who had the big game last week. He had the 250-something yards, 5 touchdowns, like his huge game. I'm sorry, 250 yards. So half of his yards came in last week's game. Still a weapon. They're still showing that they will scatter the ball around to all different kind of receivers. They don't have just one big guy. They have a bunch. And then the last one I have here is Juice Wells. We know him from South Carolina. He scored on us last year, so we know what he can do in the game. He has not been what he was in South Carolina, but he is still a weapon for them. He still will be used. He will be a vital weapon for them. So those are the main guys I have. Out of all those players I've talked about, and this is the games that I think allude to what Brian was saying when it comes to Lane Kiffin and his mind games he tries to play with us. All of those players besides Dart are on the injury reserve list as questionable or doubtful. And I'll tell you right now, all those guys are going to play. I would be surprised if all those guys do not play in some capacity. I mean, he put on here. He even has the running back is out. I mean, you're talking about your leading rusher is going to be out for this game. I mean, you're going to depend on Matt Jones only has 200 yards. I mean, very, very possible, but he's saying the running back's out. They're saying that even Matt Jones, the third ring, he's doubtful. They're saying that Trey Harris is doubtful. They're saying that Camden is questionable. They're saying that Watkins is questionable. So all these games that they're playing, do we really know who's going to be playing to hit the field? I'm pretty sure we're going to see all those names called at some point in time on the game tomorrow. So just once again, we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty confident we're going to see those guys play. This is their Super Bowl because it is honestly is an elimination game for this team. They have to score the points on us because their defense, which we'll get to in a second, is pretty strong. So we'll get into defense next here. I'll get back to you, Brian.
Yeah, that scouting report, the availability report, it sounds like mind games. Sounds like mind games. All right, well, let's run the game trailer and we'll get into the defense.
Georgia's on the road next week, a 3:30 Eastern time game in Oxford, Mississippi, against the Ole Miss Rebels.
It's going to be a very passionate, competitive, high-stakes game on the road in the SEC. Ole Miss is who we're focused on this week, and it's about us looking kind of inside and saying, what can we improve on and get better at? At the end of the day, you can't make it about scheme. You got to make it about, do I play harder than the other guy across from me? Do I play smarter than the other guy across from me? Do I play more physical than the other guy? It still comes down to blocking and tackling.
Pressure by Georgia from the edge, and Dart will go down again.
All right, guys, let's get into the defense here. We talk about this is the defense they paid for, that they want to bring us to really beat us this week. I'm sorry about my words here. So we got through their main. So I'm going to start a little bit funky. How I start out with the linebackers. These are the guys that really are their bruisers or the commanders of their defense that they love here. So we got Chris Paul Jr., we have Daughtry, and we have Perkins are their main guys. Now Paul is their leading rusher. I'm sorry, their leading tackler. He's got 38. He got 38 solo tackles and has 2.5 sacks. He has 63 total tackles. That's pretty legit this time of year for a linebacker. Daughtry he's got 59 total tackles and 3 sacks. Perkins is their sack leader with 9 sacks. They are I'll go back into more of these stats you go on through here. They are leading the nation in sacks. So let's sit for a second. Ole Miss defense, who has been one of the Achilles to their seasons over the last decade, is leading the nation in sacks. That's pretty solid. As we get in here, so we get into their secondary with the safeties and cornerbacks, right? So their safety, Washington, he has 39 total tackles. Amos, who has 35 total tackles with 30 solo, which is pretty legit. He's got 11 pass breakups and 3 interceptions. He's leading the team in interceptions here as well. And then we get to Saunders, who has 32 tackles and 33 total tackles and 1 interception. So roll to the defense, the defensive line we have here. This is where they spent a lot of the bulk of their money, and a lot of these guys you'll see are guys from other teams who were on other teams last year. So as we look at the main guys, I think it's I can't pronounce that. Sounds is it Priguz? I say his name. He's from Auburn. He's got 32 tackles. He's got 2.5 sacks, and then we all know Mr. Mr. Kaki said a little bit ago, 29 tackles from Nolan with 3 sacks. Now this guy here, I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce his name. I'm not going to try to.
I was just going to say, I want to see you pronounce that one.
Melon, whatever his name is. Okay, whatever his name is. This guy, he has 7.5 sacks. Okay, so another one of those big guys. Thanks for coming in, Brian. Making embarrass me in front of everybody. But no. So this defense is they're going to pound you, put pressure on you, and they are fast and quick, and they want to hit you, and it will put you behind the sticks. All right, so I'm gonna get into right quick the total team for both offense and defense right quick with some stats for you. So offensively, I'll run this real quick for you guys. Offensively, the scoring offense, the number 4 offense in the country at 42 points a game. Total offense, number 2 in the country at 522 yards a game. That's incredible. Passing, number 1, he's averaging 377 yards a game. Rushing offense, actually 45th, even with, like I said, the numbers were looking great. Once again, that's coming from the of Dart putting extra yards in with their number 45 at 177 yards a game. First down offense, they're number 2 in the country. So they are getting the yards on first down, getting those first downs done. Third down offense, the 34th, they're about 44% of the time they're hitting the third downs. Fourth down offense, 52. So 55% of the time on the fourth down when they go for it, they get it. So about half the time they are. Red zone offense. This is actually surprising. This will be one of the last points as we get into it. So red zone offense is the 85th red zone offense in the country. That's 82% of the time they get in the red zone, they score. In 20 of those, so they have scored 28 times when they've been in the red zone. 20 times are what? Passes or rushes? Your guess will probably pass. It's actually rushes. They have 20 rushing touchdowns and only 8 passes. And then they also have 8 field goals as well. So as they're getting off and they're getting a red zone, they are running the ball. So I'm not sure that tells you anything, but then also they are in sacks allowed. They are 73rd. They have allowed 19 sacks to the offense. Now this defense, this is the thing that was surprising me as well. The defense, right? 22 in the country. They're allowing total offense 22 in the country, allows 316 yards per game. Scoring defense, number 6 in the country, only allowed 13 points a game. We've only had one team score over 31 on them, and that was last week against a score over 30. And that was Arkansas last week. And 2 of those touchdowns were in trash time with Arkansas. So really, honestly, this team is still keeping people under or right at the 20 point marker, which is pretty incredible. Red zone defense are 5 in the country. They've allowed 6 touchdowns, rushing and passing, and they've allowed 16 field goals. So people are only scoring 66% of the time when they get in the red zone on them. That's pretty solid. Team sacks, number 2 in the country. They allow almost 4.5 sacks per game. Incredible. And they have 7 interceptions this year. So this defense is solid. This is a solid defense, solid offense. This is the kind of numbers we usually see from our side of the ball. So just kind of think about that as you guys think about your predictions going into the Pick'ems part of our show.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. I definitely want to hit some comments because we got a lot of them on the screen here. Grady Darcy says Lame Quitton is headed to Florida. Kaki says if the rain is going to be a factor, I could see 6'11" OT hybrid basketball footballer from California line up at tight end to be an asphalt roller, smoothing out the lanes for our backs. Yeah, that sure would be nice to see. Dogs get to load up and blitz dart. Williams, Chambliss, Walker, Jackson are all going to eat him alive. Dad says Kiffin's got to figure out a way to fake injuries without getting fined. And Dad wants to know the player you were trying to pronounce. His name is Ukulele.
I like it. Love it.
I like it too. All right. Well, it's that time of the week. Pick'ems. Oh, man, what has happened? I had like a 5-game lead on you guys, man. And now I have 1 on Kevin. Woo! All right, guys. Give us your predictions. Definitely want to hear from you. Vanderbilt, South Carolina. What do you say, Matt? What's your predictions on
I
this
say
one?
I say we do Kevin's first since he's not
Oh,
here
sure.
to defend himself.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right, so Kevin said he's going South Carolina on this one. And I am not doing that. I'm going to take Vandy all day. I think Vandy. Yeah, I'm taking Vandy all day. I know South Carolina's playing hot, but you know what South Carolina does every single year when they show up and they play big one game? They crap the bed the next game. And mark my words, they're going to crap the bed this next game. It's what they do.
It's so funny. These two teams are so similar, right? They're both driven by a rushing quarterback, and so we'll just see which defense is better. I'm gonna go with South Carolina as well. I just think that I think they are a little better on defense than Vanderbilt is this year. Isn't it crazy to believe that literally Vanderbilt is like 2 plays from being undefeated? Isn't that insane? And you put Vanderbilt in almost any other conference, maybe besides the Big Ten. You put them in any other conference, just besides Big Ten, SEC, they may be the conference champion. Isn't that nuts?
Yep. I still don't understand how they lost to Georgia State at the beginning of the year, though.
Yeah, turnovers.
That's unbelievable. All right, Missouri. Well, did we get any predictions? I skipped the prediction, other people's predictions. All right, going back. Let's see. John Akaki says Gamecocks. Hair is going to be on fire, 36-21. Grady Darcy says the Commodores are going to be 28. South Carolina 31. So he's choosing South Carolina too. Woo. Hunter Ivy says Vandy on the road, 36-24. No, it's at Vandy, I believe. The game is at Vandy. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's at Vandy. Okay, so there's another one from Grady Darcy. South Carolina wins. Oh, Madison, 28-24. She's going South Carolina. Wow. John Akaki says Sooners are losers. All right, I guess he's looking at the next one here. The next one is Oklahoma and Missouri. This one's a tough one for me. I just don't think Oklahoma has enough offense, but neither has Missouri lately. Missouri's top receiver, Luther Burden, has been injured. He's not been a factor. And Brady Cook, he sprained his ankle a few weeks ago. I don't think he's 100% either. But this one is at Missouri, and because of that, I'm going to go Missouri on this one. Let's see. David said Missouri too.
All right. I will follow that trend as well with Missouri. I just think that they will hold them off. But yeah, this Missouri team really just showed you how much they really missed that running back, right? That how much of an impact he really had on that team last year. So it is what it is. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be better because they had their defense all left too, but I thought they were score more points than that. And they played Alabama, so it's embarrassing, but it is what it is. Let's move on.
Yep. Hunter Ivy says Mizzou 24-20. Dad says Missouri 37-27. And Grady Darcy says Mizzou 38-17. And Madison says she's picking Missouri as well. All right, Virginia Tech and Clemson. Now, this is the one that kind of challenged me because Clemson went from playing really well, has been showing up and playing tight, and then Virginia Tech has just seemed to be coming on strong here. Clemson just totally crapped the bed last week and should not have lost that game, but they did. So this is a tough one for me. Kevin told me he's going Virginia Tech, and I just can't make up my mind, man. I really can't. So I went back and looked at Virginia Tech's scores. They were all close games. It's so hard with this one. I think I'm going to go with Virginia Tech, and I hope I'm not wrong, but I think I'm going to go Virginia Tech.
So right now, Virginia Tech's like, oh, that Vandy loss wasn't so bad, was it? They thought the season was over with, and we thought Vandy was terrible. And look at them. I called that win by the way at the beginning of the year, but no one gave me props on it.
Yeah.
But on the point though. So I'm gonna go with Clemson against you guys. I think they'll pick it back up over that. I think they'll get back the running game, and with whatever his name is, Mufasa, or whatever his name is, and they'll use him. Sorry, he's a solid running back. I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna use him well, and then they'll get back on the winning ways for sure. I think it'll be a closer game than they expecting, but I think it'll be a winning game for Clemson.
Grady Darcy says he thinks Clemson's going to win. Clem T-Son, 33-21. Dad says Clemson's going to win. They're going to rebound for last week. Akaki says Clem and his son with Dabo do the circus act, and Blacksburg with a moon-sized jug. I like it. Hunter Ivy says Virginia Tech, 31-27. Akaki says 32-24 Tigers. So those are all good predictions. This one's up in the air for me. Madison says Virginia Tech 24, Clemson 34. I like it. All right, Alabama LSU. This is another one that was tough to pick. So Matt, you picked some hard games, dude. You picked some hard games. This is a night game in Death Valley. Gonna be a slobber knocker. Kevin is going LSU. And I just this isn't the LSU of old that anytime they played a night game, they played harder, they showed up, they played 4 quarters, and they win after they play 4 quarters. I predict LSU is going to win this game for 3 quarters. But Alabama's going to win the game in 4 quarters. So Alabama is going to be my pick.
So it's funny because this is technically an elimination game, not from SEC but from college playoff, right? It's what it is. And so I mean, it actually does twofold. It's an elimination game from SEC and from the college football playoff. And the craziness is like these guys in the past they played. It defined who was going to win the West for many years. And to think that these guys were going to this game and both these teams have 2 losses, like. That's insane to think about that for a second. Like, how they both have 2 losses. That never happens, right? I think Alabama, like you're saying, is going to do what Texas A&M did, and they're going to use Milroe for what he does best, which is run. And they're just going to run the ball over them at the end of the game and eventually win the game. But I can see the balance though, because I mean, Alabama's secondary is not great. They got a good quarterback on the LSU side. So there could be a balance there in somewhere in there. But I really think they're going to say, hey, Milroe, no reason to pass the ball that much. We're going to just have you run the ball the entire game. And I bet you Milroe has 20. I bet he has 15 to 20 yards, 20 rushes in the game, and they win the game. So I'm picking Alabama as well.
Grady Darcy says Alabama 41, LSU 47 in overtime. John Akaki says LSU at night, Baton Rouge winners 33-30. Hunter Ivy says LSU 37-34. John Akaki says elephants do not travel well at night, especially without a tent available. Lights scare elephants. Go Tigers. Dad says, I agree. Alabama has always been a 4th quarter team, so I'm not sure LSU can hold them at the end. Bama win. Yeah, I mean, LSU just throughout this year has only played 3 quarters. They crapped the bed in the 4th quarter. Every one of their losses. And so I don't expect that to be any different in this game. All right, here we go. The game of the week. This is a tough one, y'all. Very, very hard game. The game is going to be won in the trenches. We know that, and especially because of the fact of the rain. Who has the most depth to stand up and create that line and the push that we need for our running game in these wet environment? Because I don't think we're going to see a lot of passes in this game. I'll be honest with you. If it's that kind of rain coming down, I just don't see us throwing the ball a whole lot. So, obviously, I'm taking Georgia. I'm not going to expect this to be a high-scoring game. I think we're probably going to see something around, I think we kick 3, maybe even 4 field goals. So, I'm going to go 30. No, I'm not going to go 30. I'm going to go 27. 27 Dogs. I'm going to go 16 Ole Miss. 16 Ole Miss. All right. Kevin said Georgia 32-24. I don't think we get over 30 points. I just don't see that happening. Not in the rain. I could be wrong. And I think 27 might be very generous, to be honest with you. What's your thoughts?
All right. So when we sat down at the beginning of the year and we did our preseason picks, I originally had Georgia with 1 loss. I eventually caved in to Kevin and gave him an undefeated, right? But my 1 loss was to Ole Miss. And if we look at these stats we've had this year so far with Ole Miss and how they played, you can kind of see why. The things that we tend to struggle with are the things that they do pretty well. And so now put into the system of how this is their elimination game. They have nothing to lose. They will throw everything at us. Do not be surprised if we see fake punts, fake field goals, onside kicks, whatever it may be. Lane's going to try to do it because they have to win. It is a end all be all for them. And when you have desperate people playing, they do things that you're not prepared for. And I'm just not sure on the road in the rain with a running quarterback that we tend to struggle with. Also, one of the best passers in the country, if we can actually get any pressure on them in the backfield to do that in the rain, to get tread and get balance and stuff. And I will say, when I chose to pick Texas when we played Texas, to sacrifice my win for the betterment of the team. But I watched a video and I posted before we got on this on the broadcast here of Kirby, with the solid coach he is, called out Carson Beck in that locker room after the game, stated to everybody he did not have his best game. He did not play well. And he called him out in front of everybody. And he said, and he gave his butt, and he gave him that whole, go back and watch the video of that. We are still a team. We are still a family, and we still hold each other up when we're not having our best games. That to me tells me Carson's going to play well this game. I got a feeling in it. He's going to play well. Now, will he maybe get sacked and maybe have a fumble? That it's going to happen because that's part of the nature of playing in the rain and this stuff. It may happen, but I'm telling you, he's going to play better. And I really have a feeling that we're going to win this game. And I really thought the whole time I'm going to sacrifice another win and go with Ole Miss and pick them for us to, pick Ole Miss so we can have that victory and play the reverse psychology. I'm not. I'm going to go full steam ahead. I'm going to pick UGA. I'm going to do it now. And my answer with the score is $1. I'm playing. Price is right here. Just beat them by 1. Beat them by 1 point. Don't care what the score is. Moving forward, you beat everybody by 1 point, you win national championship. So $1 is my answer.
I like it. I like it. Let's get some of the comments here. Let's see. Grady Darcy. I just had it and it closed out. I'm not sure why. All right. Well, we'll go Dad. 31-20. Grady Darcy says 27-17 Ole Missy. Hunter Ivy says 24-13. The Dogs. Khaki says Dogs dominate the trenches. As our depth saves the day, we have the meats. Arby sandwiches on me. Dogs 31-21. I like it. Madison says, if our offense can be smart, calculated, cough, Carson Beck, then we can come out and win this. 27-24 UGA win. I like it. Kaki says, Kevin is possessed to win this year's Pick'em contest. Yeah, he's making a name, that is for sure. He is moving things forward. That is for dang sure. I was hoping to pull that video up real quick that you wanted to show, Matt. I think it downloaded. Let's see if it'll play. And then we'll close this thing out. Any comments while this video is downloaded, Matt? Any final comments?
I just mean, like I said, it goes back to the in the game. We can't have any turnovers, and we got to play solid defense. I really believe if our offense plays average without any turnovers, and we can hold them under 24 points, we win the game. I think that's that. If we can hold them under 24 points, we win the game.
So this is the kind of producer that you have on this show, Matt. One that you can just speak it into existence.
It's hard. Listen to me, guys. It's hard playing that position. It's hard when people want to criticize you all the time for how you play. And every time we need this guy to step up on third down, he does. He overcame a lot today now. He didn't play his best game. But I know this. We can help him play better by playing better around him. Does everybody understand that?
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Ain't much else you can say after that, is it? Ain't much else you can say after that. Well, guys, let's close this thing out. All right, fellas. Heading to Oxford, Mississippi. Gonna be a wet one. Sloppy, nasty, grinding it out between, at the line of scrimmage. This one's gonna be a trench war, and we know it. But I'm gonna be there with Haley, my daughter, and we're gonna bring home the dub. So I'm Brian, Matt, Middle Georgia Dog Pound. We love you guys. See you next week. Go Dogs.